Good morning, Loganites. So I bring you here today because I have finished my first week of Nurse Practitioner School ever. I went from, I guess it's important to know like where I started to kind of feel where I am now. So I started like working at like 15, 14, somewhere around there as a landscape guy. And then I went and did work at a church. Then I worked doing more landscaping and did HVAC. Then worked at Kroger. And Kroger was my first like clock in, clock out at a clock job. And that was really interesting because at that job I learned why customer service is so important. I learned that because on every single check, at the very bottom of it, it said, this check was paid for by a happy customer. I mean, if you don't provide good service, you won't have customers, you won't get paid. Okay, I learned how to do that. I went to Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A was interesting because generally my MO was I would work for a set time, and then on the summers, I would quit and go work at a Boy Scout summer camp. So I did that for like 5 years. So that's how I was able to do all these like little jobs in between going back and forth, the Boy Scout camp and whatever job I was doing. Chick-fil-A was different because Chick-fil-A, I quit for the summer job, which I didn't actually quit because they were tearing down the store to rebuild. They did that very quickly. I came back from the Scout summer camp like, hey Logan, you want your job back? I was like, hell yeah, I do. Why not? Well, no, that's not what I said. I said, no, I don't want my job back. And he said, well, we want to put you in a manager position, which comes with more money. I was like, okay, you got me. You know, more money and I'm there, right? Anyways, I did the Chick-fil-A thing. The Chick-fil-A was important for me because, like, I learned how to actually give a meaningful customer experience. So how to do what I call, like, the mint on the pillow effect. Because if you go to a hotel and you pay for a hotel room, what are your expectations? I expect a clean room with a bed in it, a bathroom with toilet paper, and no mud or blood or guts anywhere, right? The mint on the pillow is the thing that you do extra that is not expected that really makes that experience special, right? I can attribute that to Chick-fil-A. They're very good about that. So anyways, I did that. While I was working at Chick-fil-A, I actually was in school full-time for EMT. So I'm working at Chick-fil-A, and honestly, Chick-fil-A was the reason why I finished EMT school, because EMT school is really hard. Like, it's harder than the nursing school stuff, like, because it's your very first exposure into healthcare, and you have to break yourself down to think in this healthcare world, right? I almost didn't pass. I didn't. I was like, say the passing score was 80, I was making like 82, and then a 79, and then a 81, and an 80, and like just like my average is just right above the line the whole time, and I was really trying hard. But the reason why I kept at it is because that Chick-fil-A job was so bad, like just like not fun at sometimes, that it pushed me to like, I don't want to be doing this in a year. The thing that sent me over the edge was we had a thing called Kids Night, and the trash didn't run on those nights. So they would do like extra sales. Our sales would go up by like 20%. Plus you had the trash from the day before, the one day a week, the trash didn't run. And there was, at night, you know what you have to do as a manager, hop up into the freaking dumpster, and you're like jumping on top of the dumpster, pushing the trash down in there as people throwing more trash on you to be able to push down even more so that the trash all fit in there. And you're like, oh, that sounds crazy, but if you worked in food service, you know. Well, I don't know if you know this about fast food restaurants. All the little like crispy pieces that fall off of your chicken, mainly your chicken, okay? It's like, you know, the batter, the coater that comes off your chicken, it collects in a filter at the bottom of the fryer. And we have to clean that filter every so often, and you put all that goo into a bag to cool off, or a box to cool off. Well, then you throw it away. Well, when one of those get mixed up with all the lemon rinds, and they throw it up onto the dumpster, and it covers you in this burnt grease flour mix. That's a smell you will never forget. You'll never get out of your clothes. I had to throw away all the clothes I had at Chick-fil-A because they all smelled like grease. But that's the moment that I was like, you know what? F this. I'm not failing EMT school because I don't want to be getting covered in grease next year. And that's what I did. It gave me the motivation to like really bear down and study and like not take no for an answer and really get going. So that's where I started. I was at Chick-fil-A going to a community college where, I mean, I don't know, it's small, it's not like prestigious, it's just a community college, you're doing your EMT stuff, good on you. Improving. But I want that's important because that's where I started, right? And now, back up even further, I did homeschooling for my high school years because of like a living situation with my parents. So my family didn't necessarily think that like I would do really well, okay? Because I dropped out of high school to be homeschooled. Now I'm doing this EMT thing, okay? Not real high expectations from other people. That's where I was. Then I went to paramedic school. In paramedic school, it's hard to explain, but it's hard to get the feeling of it because I don't want to like dog EMTs, but here's the thing. I was a fresh EMT that went straight into nursing school. And I know I did it, but I personally do not believe, looking back, that should be allowed. I think you need to have some time as an EMT working in the field, learning from paramedics before you can truly appreciate what paramedic school is. Because they're teaching you about like third degree heart blocks, all the different heart blocks, how to do mega codes, all these drugs, and you may have never worked a full arrest. Or you've worked, so like in my scenario, I worked some full arrests, but working a few full arrests doesn't mean that you actually understand your role in the team. And that's where I was at. I'd done it, but I didn't have a full understanding of my role or the roles, even just the roles in the scenario, because I didn't have the experience, and that's what experience gives you. That's why it's so important to have these firefighters that have been there for 20 years, because you need those people who know their roles in and out and backwards and the other people's roles. It's important. But no one wants to give value to that because they don't pay firefighters enough. It's a whole nother soapbox. But okay, going to paramedic school. In paramedic school, it's a little bit, let's call it higher class, more formal education. They're trying to get these large concepts into your brain so that you're able to function in the field. And that's what you are. They're just trying to get you to where you can function in the field. And my God, do they do a good job, because you have all these clinicals. They put you in these positions where you go intubate in the ORs. We did like some cadaver labs. Like, it was actually a really good program, and I cannot replace that experience for anything. The sad part is that even though I value personally that experience, because I was in the middle of nowhere as the paramedic with someone like trying to die on me, and it's all on me. Okay, that experience of it just being you and what the tools you have available is irreplaceable, and it really sets yourself up to either you're gonna do really well or you're not. It's it is a sink or swim kind of situation, but if you swim, you got it. Like, I don't really believe there's not much you can do. Moving forward. Sorry, getting a little off track here. The paramedic stuff, I feel like it counts for a lot. However, when you try to go from paramedic to nurse and you go talk to a college and you say, hey, I'm a paramedic, I have an associate's degree in emergency medical services. Can I go to school? And can I roll that education over into something else? Because keep in mind, I've got 2.5 years of college education at this point. After high school. Okay? Can I roll that into some other degree? They're going to look at you like you're crazy, because EMS does not roll over to anything other than maybe fire services, like a fire something degree. It doesn't. And it sucks. And it's a blow to your morale, because you're out here in the streets saving people, and people are saying, oh God, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what we would do. But then you go to the college and they're like, sucks to suck, man. Should have gone and done your biology degree or something. That sucks. That really does. And I do feel like there needs to be a way to bridge that gap, because I truly believe you go to any fire department and you can find some of the most professional, I don't want to say professional, some of the best quality people, maybe not most professional, but best quality people that you can anywhere. I feel like that's a huge resource in our communities all across the nation. And in other countries, honestly. Because, like, Canada's fire department was just like ours. Like, it felt the same good experience. But that's, again, a whole nother thing. All right, moving forward. You do this paramedic stuff. You finish paramedic school, and you decide, hey, I've been a paramedic for about a year and a half, and I'm comfortable with the full arrest. I'm comfortable with the respiratory stuff. I'm comfortable with all the stuff that there's protocols for. Like, if A happens, then you do B. If B happens, then you do C. And their protocols are built out for all of the major medical emergencies, right? Well, what happens if it doesn't fit one of the protocols quite right? Like, they're not sick enough to intubate, but they're still pretty critical. Or, what got it for me was I had a kid in the back of my ambulance I had to transport for an hour. And they were sick. Like, you could hear them wheezing. And I just remember they were really snotty. There was like a 10-year-old, and they were really sick, and I could tell they were sick, but I didn't know quite how to assess it. I didn't know how to treat it, and I didn't know where to go from there. Like, what level of care do I need to push this to? And that was an eye-opener for me. So, what I did was, I got a job at Le Bonheur Children's here in Memphis as a tech in the ER, because you got to learn how to suture, you got to learn how to cast. It was a pay cut, but they also helped pay for school, so the little bit that they paid for school made up for the pay cut, kind of. So those 3 things made me go to Le Bonheur, and so I could get more comfortable with kids. And eventually, after I got comfortable with kids, I was going to move over to Fayette County EMS, where they have like rapid sequence intubation protocol, and you can crike people. And if there's a terrible thing that happens in this whole county, there's only 3 ambulances. Well, now 4, but at the time, there was only 3 ambulances. You're one of those 3. So, you have a much higher chance to get to see the big and the crazy. But the flip side of that is, like, you are out in the middle of nowhere. So, if you're going to stabilize a patient, you have to keep them stable for an hour. It was a good learning opportunity that I wanted to do, and I was preparing to do. Well, at Le Bonheur, I got exposed to like how the actual hospital works. It was my first in-hospital job, and it was rough. It was very rough to go from pre-hospital to hospital. I didn't do great at the beginning. I wasn't professional. I didn't really know where I fit in or how to fit in or what my actual role is, but I learned and I got better. And during that time, I got accepted into nursing school. And in nursing school, this was my first moment of, oh my God, I'm in over my head. And I'll tell you the moment it was. I got accepted to nursing school, and I think I was like actually like the backup list because it was 10 days before nursing school. I got the email on the couch, and it was like, you have 10 days to take a drug test, a background screen, and fingerprints. Good luck. See you in a week or 2. That's what I did. Got all my stuff together, and I was living in Midtown with my best friend, and I remember laying on the couch getting the email going, oh my God, I have to do this. I didn't actually expect to get in. Oh my God, wow, well, here we are, we're doing it. My first day of class, I walk in, and like you get to the campus, the nursing school campus, and it's huge buildings with these big stone columns, and you can feel the money just like exuding out of the place, right? I felt a little out of my league. Because then you walk in and it's a huge lecture hall that can hold like 150 people with like stadium seating and like 2 big projectors, and the person that's sitting down there that's talking to you that's like, I'm Dr. So-and-so and so-and-so, and this is how this program's going to go. I felt very overwhelmed. I felt out of place because I'm a poor kid from Fayette County. Who am I to be in this position? Do I have what it takes? Do I even fit in with all these people? That's what's going through my mind. Well, I started to talk to people, and I was like, hey, what's your experience? No one else had any healthcare experience. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Like, I know what I'm doing already. I feel comfortable in any healthcare position. I may not, like, fit in well, but, like, I'm not going to let a person die. I've at least got that, you know. That's the thing that EMT and paramedic gives you. You are not afraid to take care of a critical patient. Okay? Can you manage a drip? But, like, you know how to bag your way out of a situation. And that's what it gives you. It gives you that confidence of like, I know my basics so well, I'm comfortable. I may not know even what an Impella pump is at that time. I don't know any of these like drips, okay? Titrated drip, like dopamine, you do it until they like get a blood pressure back, right? I mean, it's more scientific than that, but you know your basics so well you're confident. And that's what I had going for me. So I do this nursing school thing, and I learn, and I improve, and I realize, everyone's just everyone. I graduate, all nice and dandy. I still worked at Le Bonheur through the whole time. I still worked a little bit in EM. I had another part-time job in EMS at the beginning of my nursing career, but I had to let it go because school got really intense. And then I graduated and I worked as a nurse at Le Bonheur for a few years. And, I'll be honest with you, we had like some pay disputes where I was like, I'm teaching this ultrasound stuff. Like, I should be getting paid more than like a 2-year nurse. I'm like, well, a nurse is a nurse. I was like, I've got all these years as a paramedic. They're like, sucks to suck. A nurse is a nurse. You get the pay that you get. And I went, oh, well, if you feel like that, I guess I'll go somewhere else. And that's what I did. What's crazy to me is that, I'm just going to throw this out here. At Le Bonheur, in the ER, I was saving people's lives. I was like getting pulled into traumas and stuff, starting lines all over the hospital. I was an active participant in the ER, right? I got more money to do less critical work at my next job hop. And then, that job wasn't great for me, I went to dialysis. And dialysis, it's a 50% increase in pay from what I was making in the ER to dialysis. 50%. I don't save lives anymore. I don't do the crazy stuff that I used to, but I get paid way more, which I don't think should be happening. I feel like my job should be getting paid less than what I was doing before, but that's not the case. So to all my ER people out there, like, you are the winners, you are the best, you're awesome. You should be getting paid more. That being said, let me get into my thoughts and feelings on my first week as in the nurse practitioner program. That's a doctorate level program. So I don't know what I was expecting, because like, I worked with the best people I've ever worked with at Le Bonheur, the smartest of the smart people. I worked a little bit at St. Jude, it just wasn't my shtick. And then I work in dialysis, where I am the highest level educated with a bachelor's. I have the most experience in healthcare, which is crazy to me because I still feel like there's so much to learn. And like, my bosses had never worked in a hospital. Like, it's crazy. I don't know what I was expecting when I got into doctorate school, but it is so nice. Like, yes, there is a lot of like reading to do, and there's a lot of work already. I've read basically the first chapter of all these books. But it's nice. I'm around people that still have that fire in them and that still want to learn and do. And that's the thing that like I think I was missing, because most of the people that are in the ER, at least where I was at, didn't want to go on and do anything more. This is where they were going to be. I love this. This is the best. And I was like, well, like, things can always be better. That's kind of like the whole point of life, right? To improve yourself or to improve your surroundings for others. And they just didn't get that. Well, in this program already, the first 2 days we spent at the campus, and I ended up spending, honestly, a lot of the time schmoozing with like the directors. I don't know how it happened, but I turn around and I'm with the director of the F&P program, my advisor. I'm in her office drinking coffee, talking with her. Some people from Le Bonheur that I know, I'm catching up with them that are like teachers there. Like, my actual, what I would consider a role model is one of my instructors in one of my classes. She's a nurse practitioner from Le Bonheur that's like amazing. Like, she runs that place to me. Her name is like dropping a brick, okay? She's awesome, and she's one of my instructors. I'm not really overwhelmed. I don't feel out of place. I do feel weird that you walk in there and like, I've told you my career progression. At each point, no one really wanted to hear what I had to say. Like, your opinion doesn't matter at Kroger. Your opinion doesn't matter at Chick-fil-A. Your opinion doesn't really matter, even though I was a kitchen manager. Your opinion doesn't matter as an EMT. Your opinion doesn't matter really as a paramedic. You just get kind of washed over. As a nurse, some people start listening to you, especially in this clinic setting where you've got patient care techs that have no medical training. So that, you start listening to you. But at the college, it was like a warm welcome. People want to hear what's going on, what you're doing, what you're up to. I didn't really know everybody or know anyone before this. Like, I knew my pediatric people, but I didn't know any of the F&B people or the adult people. It was cool, man. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being able to, like, talk about, like, research, talk about different job opportunities, people being realistic about pay. Like, I didn't know this, but there's F&Ps getting 110 grand from certain clinics, Monday through Friday. I know exactly the clinic and I know the place, but I don't want to, like, call it out in case they get in trouble. There's ERs where people are getting 140 grand a year as an FNP. And again, I know the place, I know the thing, I don't want to call them out. But you hear about all this stuff from people that don't do it, like, oh, NPs don't really make that much money. Yeah, they do. They actually do. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Because I worked in peds forever, and the FNPs that I knew were making like 90 grand a year. The pediatricians were making like 100. Peds has no money in it. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go back FNP school, because if I wanted to stay in peds, I was going to have to go to FNP to make the money I wanted as a nurse. Okay? You know what I'm saying? However, there's so much more money working in the adult side as an FNP, I might just have to do that. I don't know. Either way, I just want to say it's been a really good experience. And if you're out there considering going back to school, if you're considering it, just do it. It's really not that expensive, and it's so awesome for the learning opportunities. If you like learning and staying up to date and stuff, really you should do it. You really should just do it. Man, I really got on a ramble there. I'm sorry, guys. But, I mean, c'est la vie, right? I like talking to y'all. Hopefully you like listening to me. So, that's it. That's like my first week of FNP school. It felt good. It felt right. Not hopefully, in 3 years I will have completed the program, because I'm not taking no for an answer. This will be it. I will finish this program in 3 years, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully there's going to be some cool research opportunities. I really do want to see with this whole DMP project if I can involve the fire department, because again, I truly believe that is a huge resource that we just kind of let sit there and swap dip and stories. So I want to use that resource on a research level. Just because they don't have a doctorate under their name doesn't mean they haven't been learning for 20 years. And that's the thing. You know, I'm getting these credentials, but I want to bring in the people that taught me, because I've learned so much from all these old firefighters and old paramedics and stuff, old nurses. Like, bring these people in that have these 25, 30 years of experience. Anyways, that's me. Guys, I appreciate y'all watching. Hey, for real, make sure you like and subscribe. Share it to a friend if you're like, hey, there's this guy that's like a lot like you. That would be awesome. Because if I can do it, you can do it. It just takes time and commitment. And I'm actually about to turn this off and get to reading myself for school. So, remember, Loganites, always keep your corn on the cob.